Manchester United transfer news as we talk Ligt, Pogba, Griezmann, Bale, Lozano, Ruben Diaz and 3 or 4 other players as well. It's going to be action-packed. There's going to be good news. There's going to be bad news. We are early a little bit tonight. We normally do the show at 8 o'clock, but we are early tonight because actually I wouldn't mind catching a bit of Holland versus Portugal myself. So doing it a little bit early. I know a lot of you asked for it as well. So smash a like, get involved. Let's start off with the 2 main stories then. Ligt, final offer from Manchester United, and Pogba, Madrid talks. Have they begun? Let's start off with Ligt then. I mean, lo and behold, what a surprise. The Netherlands, Holland are playing tonight, and Ligt still hasn't decided his future. I think the saga involving Manchester United is about to come to a very abrupt end very soon, to be honest with you. I did do a video on Friday where I said I really don't think United are in for him, and further sources coming out tonight. Gerard Romero, who is a Spanish journalist who would be considered to be fairly reliable when it comes to Barcelona, he's reporting that Manchester United's proposal to take De Ligt to Manchester United has fallen through, and that it's now between Juventus, Barcelona and PSG. Now, some people are choosing to ignore this latest bit of news from Romero, even though he pretty much was one of the main ones a couple of weeks ago who was saying that United are very strongly in for him, and everyone was going, oh, it's Gerard Romero saying it must be true. But now he's saying we're not in for him. Everyone's like, oh yeah, well, he has been quite reliable in the past. Well, of course he has been unreliable in the past, but I think that this De Ligt deal it seems to be drifting further and further away from Manchester United. Why that is, I don't know. I think, as far as I'm concerned, until he announces where he's going, there's always a chance. I just never felt that there was a massive chance anyway. And I think a lot of it, unfortunately, has come from Reddit people, Reddit groups and Twitter accounts who actually have got no credibility at all other than typing out stuff. I've been told this is what's going to happen. And a lot of people have believed it. And I think they've chosen to believe it because it's very easy to be an in the know behind a faceless account, isn't it? Because you can delete tweets that don't come true and you can save tweets that do. And I think a lot of people have fallen into that trap with the De Ligt deal. I think that Manchester United probably wanted De Ligt, but ultimately, when you look at it, as somebody said today, what's wrong with De Ligt when he could go to Juventus and play with Ronaldo, Barcelona and play with Messi, PSG go and play with Mbappe, or Manchester United and play with Ashley Young? What's his problem? Why won't he come? And I think that sums up Manchester United quite well at the moment. We're a banter club who are being bantered, who are trying desperately to get back from the ruins of the last 6 years. And, in a different time, maybe we really would have been a competitor for De Ligt. But I just think that it's a step too far and we shouldn't get angry about it. Get angry with the lying shits on Twitter and Reddit groups who said that it was going to happen. But don't get angry with Manchester United, because I think it was always a very far-fetched deal. And a player like De Ligt comes along once in a lifetime. He's, well, not once in a lifetime, once every sort of 5 to 10 years. He's a top quality player, 19 years of age, and he ticks every single box that Manchester United need. We need a leader. We need somebody dominant in the air. We need him more than any club needs that sort of player. But it is what it is, and we'll see what happens. I mean, look, hang in there. You never know. Something could twist again. But United apparently, United, whatever the situation, United will have made the best financial offer. There is no doubt about that, because you can't not offer the best financial offer, because if you don't, he's just going to say, yeah, but you're not even in the Champions League. So you've got to offer him more than everybody else anyway. So fair play to the lad if he's rejected our offer because simply that we're not in the Champions League, and fair play to him for that. I also wanted to say as well, take note of the graphics we've got changing beside me as well. Big shout out to Draughty Devil. I know he's been working. I know they had their debut last week, but he has been working hard on just enhancing a few things as well. So big shout out to Draughty for that, and do smash a like on that for that as well. Let's talk about. Let me just talk about Bruno Fernandes, because I've spotted him on there with the same page with Wan-Bissaka and Bale, so we can talk about those, and then we'll talk about Pogba. So Bruno Fernandes, talking about the in the know bullshitters who pretend that De Ligt's come into the club so that they can pretend that they actually have a penis behind their faceless Twitter accounts. Look, they're all jumping on the Bruno Fernandes thing now. Where's the Bruno Fernandes story coming from? Okay, it's coming from Portugal over the last 2 or 3 weeks. And before that, it's come from the United stand and what I was told 2 months ago. So that's the foundation of Bruno Fernandes coming to Manchester United. There's nobody else. There's nobody else who can come along and start saying, my mate who works in the kitchen at Old Trafford told me, I'm on the Reddit. There's no bloody fake Spanish guy on Twitter who can say, I told you 9 years ago that Bruno Fernandes was going to come to Manchester United. It's from Portuguese sources, and it's from what we were told 2 months ago about Meunier, Bruno Fernandes and Sancho. And that's where it comes from. A lot of people are now saying Bruno Fernandes is close, it's done, this, that and the other. Right. As somebody who was told about Bruno Fernandes 2 months ago, I am not going to say to you right now that Bruno Fernandes is a done deal. I expect it to be done. I'm not saying it's a done deal. I'm not saying that it's going to happen next week. I think it will be done very soon, and I think he will be a United player. But that is it. Anybody else who's feeding you out any of this nonsense is lying, because that's just what's happening with Bruno Fernandes at the moment. So maybe watch him tonight play for Portugal, make your mind up about him. I think there's a very good, strong chance that he's going to come to Manchester United. With Wan-Bissaka, I did a video on Wan-Bissaka this morning. Now, Sky Sports leaking out that United have made a bid for Wan-Bissaka. There's a little bit more to that than what was this morning. Apparently, the bid is £40 million, and Crystal Palace have rejected it. So there's two options there. Do United go back in with a higher offer? Or is that the end of it? Now, a lot of people think that, yeah, United will go back in with a higher offer. Some people think we shouldn't do. He's not a full England international. £40 million for a right back for Crystal Palace is more than sufficient. Let's not get mugged off. Some people are saying just pay 60 million. Let's get the deal done. He's brilliant. I think that look, let me just tell a story. United wanted Alexandro last year. They refused to go above £40 million. They wanted Perisic 2 years ago. They refused to go above £40 million. So if we're going to do that again, maybe it's the end of Wan-Bissaka. Maybe we never bid for him in the first place. Maybe we've got other options. I don't know. But he's an interesting player. I think defensively he's very, very good. As you can see there, I think he's either staying where he is or he's coming to Manchester United. £50 million probably seems about right to get him. Watch this space. I'm not a firm believer that we're in for Wan-Bissaka, but watch this space on that. Friedman220 says to get De Ligt, Manchester United have to say to him is that he will be captain and we will build a team around him, and I promise he will come. Well, I don't think United would offer him the captaincy straight away. I don't think they would. Chris Delargy, where is the director of football? You know as much as I know about that one. But let's talk about this Pogba story as well. I feel like I must talk about it quite soon because it is in the title of the video. So there was a report in The Sun. Take it with a pinch of salt. Some didn't say it. Look, what we do on the United Stand, for anybody who's new and subscribing, a lot of what we talk about in the summer is fans talking about the latest transfer news. So we'll always tell you where the information's coming from, and then we digest it and talk about it because we're football fans. We're not pretending to be in the nose. We're not pretending to have a mate who's bloody washes Pogba's clothes and he's heard something when he's been talking with his missus. Nothing like that. We are talking about transfer news and we're giving it that real fan opinion. So this is coming from The Sun that Manchester United held talks with Real Madrid last week when Real Madrid representatives were in London talking to Eden Hazard. Now, Manchester United's main offices for negotiations, they do have an office down in London. So don't think Manchester United Manchester. It's got to be in Manchester. That's not how it works. United haven't been like that for years. We have got offices in London. So look, Pogba, Real Madrid talks. I think you can spin this so many different ways. I still think that Pogba will stay at Manchester United. I think Pogba should leave United. I think United should sell Pogba because it's inevitable he's going to go. So I'd rather he went sooner rather than later, because I just think when you know somebody's leaving, get that exit done. Let's not mess about it. Do Real Madrid want Pogba? Yes. Does Pogba want to go to Real Madrid? Yes. Can Real Madrid afford him? I don't know. Do Manchester United want to sell him? No. So it's up in the air as to what's going to happen. I do think that Mino Raiola is a very interesting character in this, and you have to wonder how powerful Manchester United actually are in their negotiations with Mino Raiola, because Manchester United don't have to sell Paul Pogba. So what's the sweetener for Manchester United to sell Paul Pogba? Well, if De Ligt's going to go not to Manchester United, and that's one of Mino Raiola's clients, so up yours, Mino. You've not helped us with that one. Lozano, It's funny, we've been talking about Lozano the last few days. The latest, and it's from today, in relation to Italian sources, is that Lozano's signing for Napoli. That's another Mino Raiola client, not coming to United. And he's only going for 40 million, so you've not helped us out with that one either. Or we're stupid and we've refused him. So what's the incentive for Manchester United to sell a Mino Raiola client? When you think about Mino Raiola in Manchester United, there's always been this, you scratch our back, we'll scratch yours. What's he going to help us with this summer if we're going to let Pogba go? Because we don't have to let Pogba go, and this is why I think we won't be letting Pogba go. Kalachi Gaming says, CBS unavailable or too expensive, who are we going to get? Yeah, centre-backs unavailable or too expensive, who are we going to get? Good point. I'm going to come back to that in a moment. I was thinking about CBS and bloody American network TV networks then for a moment, but I want to come back to that one, so that's a good point. Welcome to Paul Bryce, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Remember, you can join that by clicking the join button. You get your little badge next to your name, the access to the emojis, and the polls that we do on the community page. So thank you to Paul. And Sebastian Anderson says, do you think Van Dijk of 18-19 is better than Vidic of 08-9? Love the content, Mark. Always spot on. And also, what do you think who do you think will win tonight? I hope Portugal wins tonight, because my only interest in the Netherlands was that De Ligt might be coming to United. He clearly isn't, so he can do one. I want Portugal to win because Ronaldo is a United old boy, and Bruno Fernandes could be a new boy. Oh, that's lovely. But going back to what Kalichi Gaming is saying was there, with regards to the centre-back situation, it's very, very difficult to know what Manchester United are going to do. Very, very difficult to know. And I think the centre-back and the right-wing position, as I said before, I don't know what we're going to do. But with regards to centre-back, if Koulibaly's too expensive, because we looked like we were in for Koulibaly a month ago, and now it's died a death because I think he's too expensive. If De Ligt commits himself to Barcelona or whoever, and it's not us, he's not coming. So Koulibaly's out the equation. De Ligt's out the equation. Varane was never in the equation. Skriniar's out the equation because he signed a new contract. That's 4 top-class centre-backs, all of which would be very, very good for us, none of which are coming. What next? Harry Maguire's been touted by me, you know what, but there is a story from Portugal that Benfica are desperate to get Ruben Diaz on a new contract like João Felix was, because João Felix's release clause is £100 million. Ruben Diaz's release clause is still only 60, so they want to get him on a new contract, so his release clause goes up to about 100 as well. He's not signed that contract yet, and the words used by the Portuguese press was sharks are circling Ruben Diaz, and Manchester United was mentioned. Well, Ruben Diaz is 22. I think he's playing as well for Portugal tonight, so keep an eye on for him. He's over 6 foot. He is a bit of a leader. He is good on the ball, and he could be a solution for Manchester United, and quite a cheap solution, because his release clause is 60 million. So maybe he is a player worth keeping an eye on. But the centre back, it's funny. Paul Robinson, who's one of the moderators, and George Kyle's one of the moderators, and we were talking in our group chat this afternoon about. I quite like Harry Maguire, and they were saying, I'm fed up of us going for second and third choices. We've got to get the best. But I suppose the answer to that is, if your first choice is De Ligt and your second choice is Koulibaly and you can't get either, what do you do? Do you go for Ruben Diaz and Harry Maguire, or you just say, no, it's not worth it, and we stick with the Chuckle brothers? I mean, it's very difficult, isn't it? I mean, and this is where I do sympathise with Manchester United and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because you can have your shopping list. And it's all right having your shopping list in February and March, because it's like, let's go out and get them. But when the summer comes along and you can't get those players, or you miss out on those players, what do you do? Do you keep going down the list to third or fourth choice, or do you just go, no, we're just going to make do with what we've got? And I don't think you make do with what you've got, because what you've got is crap. So, yeah, you might not be able to get your first or second choice, but Harry Maguire, Ruben Diaz, they're still better than a lot of what we've got, and we desperately cannot go into next season going, wow, we tried to get De Ligt and Koulibaly, but we couldn't, so let's just get by with Lindelof, Jones, Smalling and Rojo. It isn't going to work. It isn't going to work. We're going to have to do a lot better than that. And the way football works, there's not an endless pot of top-class leader dominance in the air centre-backs out there. We've highlighted the 2 best in De Ligt and Koulibaly, and for different reasons we're not able to get them. Of course, one option is, and I don't think United would take it, is, well, Koulibaly's got a release clause. I know it's a lot of money, but offer Napoli 100 million. See what they do. At the end of the day, Harry Maguire is going to cost 80 million. For another 20, you could get Koulibaly and blow Napoli out the water, because I think Napoli would take 100 million. So maybe that's it. Lindelof is good. Why are you talking like he is not, says Boris. Can we just rewind the video, everybody, and let's highlight to Boris where I said Lindelof was a bad player? What did I say, Boris? I said I listed the centre-backs that we've got. I didn't say Lindelof was bad. I said, you need... And a little bit of a lesson for you, Boris. 2 centre-backs. There's 2 centre-backs. So Lindelof is a good centre-back. Rojo, Jones, Smalling aren't. You've got to play one of those with Lindelof. So listen to what I said. I'm not bad-mouthing Lindelof at all. We need a centre-back. You play 2. Diaz is coming to Italia, not the Premier League, says Bovu. Well, I mean, another one going to Serie A by the sounds of it, which amazes me. What kind of gel does Mark use? How do you know I use gel? I used Brill Cream Strong Gel. I've always used it. Anyway, Shresh Banerjee says, by far best go-to channel for all my... By far best go-to channel for all my latest United news. Great job on the channel, Mark, and all your work and research. Also keeping it so professional. Shresh Banerjee. Well, thanks for that contribution, but it's not just me. As you can see with the stuff that's going on alongside me, this is all done by the Drawty Devil, who's does great work, so cheers to him for that as well. What we want to do is have me talking, interacting with you, but having information on the side as well that you can visually interact with as well while you're listening. So I think it's great. Why we don't go for Skriniar, says Gregory Mile. I don't know. I mean, look, as I said there, Jordan Constantino says he's pregnant or she's pregnant. Congratulations. I don't know. And welcome to Caleb Thought to Kadavil, latest member of the United Stand Members Club. Thanks for that, man or woman. Why aren't you doing a watch along, says Dylan Moore. Why would I do a watch along for Portugal versus the Netherlands? I don't know. There's your answer. I never even considered it. Maybe Riola has had enough of Woodward, says Grant Beadle. Well, maybe Manchester United have had enough of him. I mean, what you do need to bear in mind as well is that... No, let me just quickly tell you about Griezmann. So Griezmann, remember I did the video yesterday morning. Griezmann is a real confuser because he said that he's leaving. He said he knows where he's going. Atletico Madrid have said that they've had no offer from Barcelona. Barcelona seem very reluctant to sign Griezmann. So there's this big question mark about where Griezmann's going. And I was talking yesterday morning, what if United are going to do a deal like that? Apparently, it's going to be PSG. So PSG, who everybody thinks is going to be done over by financial fair play, are one of the favourites to sign De Ligt for 80 million and are also getting Griezmann for 100 million and still have Mbappe, Neymar and everybody else. I mean, look, we can moan about Manchester City, but PSG spending power in a Farmers League is an absolute disgrace. It is. How can they produce another 100, 200 million on transfers? It's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous what's happening to football and how these billionaires can just circumvent the rules of this game. But at least Griezmann's not coming to us because I don't really want him, to be honest with you. Mark Ainsworth, I agree. Lindelof is our best centre-back and he's the only one worth keeping. I agree. I absolutely do agree with you. Do you think James will start or go on tour? Says Fergus WL. Daniel James will 100% be going on the tour with Manchester United and I think he'll get some game time as well. Maybe Neymar is leaving, says AB1H. Who can afford Neymar? Who can afford Neymar? Who can afford Mbappe? Like, they're in a golden cage, as Adam said from Get French Football News in the midweek. Nobody's got the money to sign those sort of players. Like, Neymar and Mbappe are £200 million. Nobody's got that money. Barcelona haven't got it. Real Madrid haven't got it. So who's got it? No one's got it. Ryan FTW, Bissaka is too defensive, a British Darmian. Does signing Bruno mean the end of Pogba? Bruno seems to be attacking to play alongside Pogba in the midfield three. That is the interesting thing for me, Ryan. I think if we get Bruno Fernandes, he's basically I can't word it right without annoying Pogba fans, but he's basically plays Pogba's position better than Pogba does. He gets a lot more goals and a lot more assists, and he's a lot more energetic in getting the ball back. But I I don't think you can play him next to Paul Pogba in a midfield three. Maybe we'd have to use the diamond, because I don't think Pogba's going to go, if I'm totally honest with you. I don't. The Rosinator 91. What was the final offer? I don't have access to that information as to what Manchester United's final offer for De Ligt was. I would presume if the stories are right and Barcelona are offering him around 10 million euros a year, PSG 12. I think United will have offered him around 14 million a year. I do. We will have offered the best package, but with the worst option, aren't we? Emmerdale Cup, inexperienced manager, 6 years of failure, splintered squad that's unhappy. Yeah, come on down. We'll pay you loads. I don't think you'll fancy it, if I'm totally honest with you, but you never know. You can compare Fernandes versus Pogba with the difference between the two. You can't compare Fernandes versus Pogba with the difference between the two leagues, says Mark Goodwin. Yeah, you're right, to be fair. Twallery 18, Pogba plays alongside Kante in front of the defence. He does for France, yeah. He doesn't play alongside Kante for Manchester United. Hello, this is the United Stand, a Manchester United fan channel. So, yeah. Finally, a video. Okay, KJ, you can go into a timeout for that. You smug git. Only joking. Brozovic to United thoughts, says Lovro Druzjanic. I mean, if he's part of the Lukaku deal, I'll live with it, but there's better than... Brozovic isn't that good, I mean, I watch a lot of Italian football. He's okay. He's not one of the best midfielders in European football. He's okay. Brozovic is the sort of player I'd expect Everton to sign for 40 million. He's not like... There's no way Spurs, Liverpool, Chelsea or City would even be considering signing Brozovic from Inter Milan. They just wouldn't. He's not that sort of a player. He's not even better than Ander Herrera, and we've let Ander Herrera go. So Brozovic is an uninspiring, okay signing, but nothing more than that. Bale loan deal, says Atava Tanpure. Yeah, this was something I wanted to talk about. Obviously, it's one of the slides that have been going through. There's the one I want to get. Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United. I don't think Man City are in for him, to be honest, or Tottenham. Liverpool medium, Bayern Munich low, 75 million quid. I think he will end up at Manchester United. With regards to Gareth Bale, look, there needs to be a solution for Real Madrid with Gareth Bale. A solution I don't really give a damn about. It's up for them to resolve that. There needs to be a solution for him. And Manchester United, we need a right winger. We do need a right winger. And I just wonder whether Gareth Bale subsidised wages to Manchester United on loan for a year could be something that Manchester United look at. What worries me about it is that he's 30 this summer. What worries me about it is that he's injury prone. But he could become part of this man's deal. Paul Pogba the other way, 150 million quid, Gareth Bale on loan. Maybe he could be. But as it says there, Gareth Bale, plus points, pace and technicality, bad points, attitude and injury prone. I don't know with Bale. I mean, if you're saying to me, would you rather get Gareth Bale on loan to play on the right wing, or would you rather sign Hirving Lozano or Ziyech from Ajax, or even a Bergwijn from PSV? I'd probably rather sign those players than get Gareth Bale. Having said that, Gareth Bale could come back and absolutely tear the Premier League up. He could do. He's a good player, but it just doesn't feel like it's the right thing for Manchester United to do. His age, his injury record, the fact that we're trying to rebuild something and he'd be a short-term plan. It just doesn't... It feels like what we've done before over the last few years, and it just feels like we'll all get excited about it again and it'll be over in a year or two, and that's not what United need. And also, what if he has a really good season for Manchester United? Are we then going to buy him next summer when he's 31? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Bale or Lingard, bloody hell, that's not even a question. Gareth Bale every day of the week. I mean, you see Lingard again today for England. Absolutely bang average. And it has to be a joke that we're meant to be giving him a new contract, because he's just done nothing for a year. He's bang average. Stick him on the bench on the current contract he's got, and if Everton offers 50 million, take it. But yeah, Gareth Bale's an interesting one. He is an interesting one, and I think I don't want to sign him. I don't want to spend any money on him. But if he's offered us up to us on a loan, I think a loan benefits a lot of people because Gareth Bale doesn't have the security in a loan. He's got to prove himself on loan. Real Madrid still own him. Manchester United, if it doesn't work, we can give him back. So I don't know. Look, ultimately, if we sign Griezmann, if we sign Gareth Bale, if we keep Lukaku, if we keep Alexis Sanchez, you've got to back these players because they're United players. But there's things I'd rather we were doing in the transfer window. Is it true that Woodward will stop the Fernandes deal, says Zachary Buddington? I mean, there was a story yesterday that we were hesitating on the Bruno Fernandes fee, but that's nothing new. United do hesitate a lot on a lot of deals, so that wouldn't be anything new. I mean, what you cannot ever ignore and will always frustrate, but you just have to accept, is that who we think we should be signing is never going to go hand in hand with what Manchester United want to do. Hirving Lozano is a prime example. He is going to go to Napoli, and this is going to be happening for a long time. His bloody agent's Mino Raiola, who we've got a good relationship. He's going to Napoli for 40 million euros, and to me, he's one of the best right-sided players in world football. Why would United not be in on that deal? He actually has a soft spot for Manchester United, and this has been known for a long time. We'd blow Napoli out the water for wages and transfer fee. If we wanted to get Hirving Lozano, we could just get him. But the bottom line is, as much as I think he'd be brilliant for United, and a lot of you do as well, we're not after Hirving Lozano. Because if we were, we would get him. We would. We're richer than Napoli. We'd pay more money to PSV, and he's basically a United fan if you know anything about him. So he'd come to Manchester United. But we're not in for him. We're not even considering him. So it is frustrating. It's the Fabinho effect. I think we should have got Fabinho. We were never in for him. Even Fabinho admitted it. United were never in for me. And if we were, I think we would have got him. And I think he would have been absolutely brilliant, as has been proved by Liverpool. And I think when Lozano goes to Napoli, he will be brilliant. But we're not in charge of United transfers. Somebody else is, and they don't consider these players that we think would be good. And it is frustrating, but it is just the way it is. Welcome, Lee Hughes, the latest member of the United Stand Members Club. I just want to make sure that we've discussed every little thing that I wanted to discuss with you. As a little bit of a recap, so Wan-Bissaka, as we were talking about this morning, apparently United have had a £40 million deal rejected. Whether they'll go up higher or not, or whether it's just a load of paper talk, I don't know. Lozano to Napoli looks like that's going to happen. I've just been speaking about that. Gareth Bale on loan is a consideration for Manchester United. Apparently, Paul Pogba as representatives met with Real Madrid representatives in London last week to start talking about a deal. Whether that's true or not, we'll find out. Ruben Diaz, Portuguese centre-back, is an option for Manchester United now because Koulibaly and Ligt look extremely unlikely. We opened the show up talking about Ligt, actually. Gerard Romero, who's a Spanish journalist, he was the one I spoke about 2 or 3 weeks ago when I said that United are strongly linked with Ligt. He was the journalist who basically said that was the case, quite a reliable one. He's now saying that Manchester United's offer has fallen through, and it's between PSG, Barcelona, and Juventus for the signing of Matthias de Ligt. So, are we in? Are we out? We're probably out, but we do need a sense. I mean, imagine the worst case scenario. While we try, and we've got to be very, very careful of this. This is not something I'm falling for on August the 8th when the transfer window closes. No value in the market. I don't want any of this bollocks where we tried to get De Ligt. We tried to get Koulibaly. We couldn't get them, so we got nobody. No, that is not going to wash. That is not acceptable. Oh, we tried to get De Ligt and Koulibaly, so we got nobody. No, get somebody else. Have 5 or 6 choices. All right, they might not be as good as your first choice, but get other people in. Because De Ligt and Koulibaly aren't going to be available next summer either. So what are you waiting for? This next big thing, the next Eder Militao, who went to Real Madrid. You've got to get somebody in. You've got to get somebody in. It's like Jadon Sancho. I really think they should spend the money on Jadon Sancho now because, yeah, Jadon Sancho wants to come to United, but obviously doesn't because of the Champions League and the instability, but he quite fancies coming to United if he comes back to the Premier League. That's now. In a year's time, when he's had another good season at Dortmund, and Real Madrid and Barcelona come sniffing around, and we go, yeah, do you want to come to us now? We've scraped top 4, we're in the Champions League. Nah, I'm off to Real Madrid, mate. So you got to strike while the iron's hot. You got to strike while the iron's hot. And you know what? Whoever gets De Ligt's got one of the world's best centre-backs for the next 10 years because he's only 19. Whoever gets Jadon Sancho gets one of the world's best right wingers for the next 10 years because he's 19. United have got to start making these moves. James Patrick would obviously prefer Sancho, but if Bale on loan can help us back into the Champions League, then it's worth it so we can sign first choices next summer. It's an interesting thought. It is. I've just done the recap there. What do you think of Upamecano? Says Kieran Yusuf. You know, it's not as inspiring as some of the people that we've mentioned, but we've got to get somebody. We've got to get somebody. Paul Pogba stay, Gareth Bale loan, Ligt buy, Munier buy, Rubio paid by, Thomas Partey buy. So saga Schofield. What do you think of? What do you think of? Yeah, I've done that one. Okay. You overrate Lozano, says Mazin Sol. But by the very definition of your statement there, you've been a hypocrite. If I say I rate Lozano and I think it'd be a good signing for Manchester United, and then you come back at with me saying you overrate Lozano, that's your opinion. My opinion's different. It doesn't make my opinion right, and it doesn't make your opinion right. But you're hypocritical to try and shout my opinion down because it's my opinion. I think Lozano would be brilliant for Manchester United. You don't. We won't get to prove it because he won't sign for us. So I've got every right to say, well, I think we should have gone for him. You've got every right to say, we're right not to go for him. The truth is, we'll never bloody know because we're in the hands of owners who make their own choices, as we've seen over the last 6 years. City want to sign Cancelo and Maguire, both defenders, when they've won the domestic treble, whilst we have given Smalling, Young and Jones new contracts, says Aaron King. Well, you know, couldn't have put it better than myself, Aaron. We're an absolute farce when it comes to some of the players that we've kept hold of. And, you know, everyone who's saying Lozano ain't that good, it's like saying, well, Maguire's not that good. I mean, look, do you understand how idiotic that sort of statement is? Oh, Lozano's not that good. Maguire's not that good. Have you realised what we've got at home? You've got Smalling and Jones at centre-back. You've got Lingard and Mata on the right wing. And you're going, Lozano ain't that good. He shits all over those two. Absolutely destroys them. So it's like, look, you've got to stop shopping at Harrods when you might need to start shopping at Marks and Spencer's, because United fans are still living in this dream world where you think you can sign De Ligt, where you think you can sign Jadon Sancho. And I bloody hope that we do sign those sort of players this summer, but I don't think we are going to sign them. So you've got to look at the next bit thing. And you've also got to look at where we are. We're a team that's playing Ashley Young at right back with the captain's armband, with Phil Jones next to him, Matic in front of him, young kids like McTominay and Pereira in the midfield three, Lingard playing, Mata playing. We're an absolute shambles, and that's why we finished comfortably, no contest, no one near us, comfortably 6th with crap football. But then you've got United fans going, oh, he's not good enough. Oh, I don't want Munier. Oh, I don't want Lozano. No, I don't want them. I don't want Rabiot. He's got a bad attitude. And I just sit there thinking, let him crack on, because I find it absolutely hilarious. So we're going to turn down Rabiot, who's one of the best midfielders in Europe, because he's got a bad attitude. Fine, let's stick with Matic. We'll be absolutely fine. Oh, we're going to turn down Munier, an international right back with a lot of experience who gets a lot of goals and assists, because we're happy with Ashley Young. Great, okay. Oh, we're going to turn down Lozano, who's not that good, to stick with Lingard and Mata. Great. And that's my point. You can have an opinion on, oh, they're not good, they're not that good, but they're infinitely better players than what we've got. And this is where we're getting a bit arrogant here. We can't get our first choices because the club is on its knees. We might have to go for third or fourth choices. And yeah, there's an element of risk there, but they're better than the shit that we've got. And that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I would go for Harry Maguire. He's way better than anything we've got at the back, bar Lindelof. So I would go for Harry Maguire. I would go for Thomas Munier, because it's basically like putting a body at right back rather than the invisible man Ashley Young. And I would go for Lozano, because I actually do rate Lozano, but he's infinitely better than Jesse Lingard and Juan Mata on the right-hand side. Issa Diop from West Ham will be a top player soon, says Jack Lee. Well, I just, you know what I hope, Jack? I hope that we are actually looking at players like that. Players that none of us are considering, that will come into this club and make a big difference. A lot of people mentioned Doucouré from Watford. I'd be over the moon. Premier League proven. Very, very good player. Better than what we've got. Greetings from the US, Mark. Hope you have a great Sunday. Hope you have a great Sunday too, pal. Rightful one. Munier's got 8 assists in 3 years, says Paul Robinson. He's not. He's got way more than that. We should go fetch players from the Championship for the rebuild. No, we shouldn't, Adams, Clive. We shouldn't. Mark, when we bought Delo, he was called the best young fullback in Europe. If he was the future for right back, why buy Wan-Bissaka? Munier would be better, says Daniel Gilmore. Well, I agree with you on that, Daniel. I think that Thomas Meunier would be a player that we bring in who's experienced to complement the inexperience of Dalot. The issue with Dalot is it's the modern football fan. It's the fickle, modern, impatient football fan. When we bought Dalot a year ago, everyone was excited. Now we've had a crap season and Dalot's played a few games in that. I want a new toy. We're becoming like Real Madrid. We're becoming like that. Oh, I want a new toy now. And also Dalot suffers because he was a Mourinho signing. So we don't know really whether Ollie rates him or not. But have no doubts about it. When we bought Dalot a year ago, we stole Dalot basically because there was definitely Bayern Munich, Juventus and Real Madrid were interested in him and wanted him, and we stole a march on them because of the Portuguese connections that Mourinho had. It was a very good signing by Mourinho, and it was a very un-Mourinho-like signing to go and get somebody young like that, but his Portuguese connections benefited. When I look at Dalot and look at the size of him, his physicality and his speed and his ball delivery, I think he's a fantastic player for 19. I think if his name was Davies and he'd come through the youth setup, we would just be waxing lyrical about how good he is. But there's this obsession now that we need to go and get Wan-Bissaka. I don't really want to get Wan-Bissaka. I think he's a good player, but I have a lot of confidence in Dalot. But for some reason, he's just not the shiny new toy that people want to be patient with anymore. And I don't really get it because there is no bad performance that you go, Dalot's crap. There's actually a lot of good signs from his game. Yeah, positionally, defensively, he's made a couple of mistakes. He's 19. Going forward, he's put some brilliant crosses in. He's energetic, he's physical. I think he's a very, very good right back. But for some reason, people seem to want to move him on and let's get another new toy. Rob Welsh says, I drag my balls across broken glass to hear United fart through a walkie-talkie. Martial, Rashford, Lingard play like it's their right. Get rid. Man United have said that Mata has been contacted for a contract. Thoughts on this as Naib Sadiq? Well, we've spoken about that, haven't we? I think it's a ridiculous thing to do. The only reason I'd keep Mata is if it's going to keep De Gea because they're mates. That's it. I wouldn't keep Mata for any other reason. Wan-Bissaka is exactly what we need, says Billy T. I mean, how anybody can say... So you're a Crystal Palace season ticket holder, are you? Okay. Billy T is a Crystal Palace season ticket holder. Wan-Bissaka is exactly what we need, said 90% of United fans who've probably only watched him play twice, considering he didn't play against us in the Crystal Palace game. So it's the silly season. People start talking about players that they've got no bloody idea about. Wan-Bissaka's a young English right back. Oh, I bet he's the next Kyle Walker. He actually isn't. He's more of a defensive player. He's not actually that good going forward. But people will not have a clue what Wan-Bissaka's like, how he plays. It's just, oh, he's a young, exciting right back, and we need a right back because Ashley Young's crap. That's basically, and that's a fair argument. Anything's better than Ashley Young, of course it is. But I guarantee most of you've never watched Wan-Bissaka play. Dalot has the best cross completion last season, says Balu Maliki. I think he's a good player. I would like to see him go. I'm watching De Ligt play. He's solid. Shout out Tito from Northeast LA, says Tito the Fool. Dalot can't defend, says Elite Martial. He's 19. Again, he's 19. You cannot say anything about people who are 17, 18, 19 because they've not even finished their development. You don't get 17, 18, 19-year-old right backs who come in complete. There's no such thing. I can't even think of anybody in over 30 years of watching football who came in as a fullback in their teens and was complete. Gary Neville was probably one of the best disciplined right backs I remember, and even him, when he broke into the team, would make mistakes because that's what it's all about. You become a better defender by being experienced. Like Rio Ferdinand, I think he burst on the scene as a teenager. He used to make loads of mistakes until he was 23, 24. That's what you do. So we're writing Dalot off now because defensively he's made a few mistakes. He's 19. Wan-Bissaka is a good player, Richard. He is a good player, but let's not start pretending we all know that Wan-Bissaka's the best right back in the league because you don't. Trent Alexander-Arnold is anyway. He's absolutely sensational, and he makes he's a very good example. Trent Alexander-Arnold is 20. He got absolutely ripped apart a year ago at Old Trafford by Marcus Rashford. How the tables have turned. Marcus Rashford sent him back to the youth setup. He absolutely made him look stupid. And Trent made a lot of mistakes. He made a lot of mistakes, and he's making fewer and fewer mistakes with every year now. He's probably one of the best right backs in Europe. That's just the way it is. Okay, I'm actually gonna go and watch this game, Portugal versus Holland, because life's getting too short, and we're arguing about stuff that is just odd to me. You know, we're writing Delo off because he's just turned 20 now. Somebody just said Delo's now 20. All right, let's throw him into the scrap heap then. You know, it's becoming a silly argument, really. Wan-Bissaka, who most of you've never even bloody watched play, is now better than our young right back that we bought a year ago. Whatever. Okay. But this is the modern game. This is the way fans operate now, isn't it? You know, players are thrown on the scrap heap because you want a new toy. How the hell is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer going to get patience from you lot when you've got no patience with a 19-year-old we bought a year ago because you want to now bring in another one? Like, how the hell is how can you talk about giving Ole Gunnar Solskjaer even 2 years when you can't even be asked to give a young right back 2 years because you want another one brought in now? It's the world we live in, though. I'm not being critical. I'm not criticising you. I just think I've had this conversation with a lot of people, and people talk about patience, and I don't even know how patient I can be with Solskjaer, so I'm not going to be a hypocrite. We get stuffed at Anfield 4-0 in September, and I'll tell you what, patience is not going to be in my mind when I'm doing a match reaction. So I just don't think patience exists in football. Maybe it never did. I don't know, but it certainly doesn't anymore. Because it doesn't take long before people are wandering on to wanting something new. If you'd said to me 6 months ago, people would be saying, get rid of Marcus Rashford, I never would have thought it. There's a lot of people who would now. So patience is a virtue, but it doesn't necessarily exist in football anymore, does it? Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Please do smash a like on the video. I really enjoyed the video. I really enjoyed the show tonight, by the way, because actually the better shows are the one where we actually get into some proper debate. So look, you know, we might not agree on everything, but that's the whole point. It's about opinion. And I enjoy it when it goes that way. So a little bit of a treat for you tomorrow morning. Transfer Daily won't be going up at 7 a.m. It's going to be a live Transfer Daily tomorrow at 9:30 UK time in the morning. So it'll be a live Transfer Daily tomorrow. There's a couple of reasons for that, which you will see. So it won't be going up at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. It will go up at 9:30 tomorrow morning. A couple of surprises for you there. Enjoy the rest of Portugal versus Holland. I'm going to go and watch a bit of it now. Thanks everyone who tuned in tonight, and I shall speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 500,000 subscribers, so please subscribe, bottom right hand corner, and share the video, etc, etc. But some brilliant comments tonight. I enjoy it when we get a little bit of a debate going in, so well done everyone, and I'll speak to you tomorrow morning 9:30 live UK time. Smash a like.